Okay, it's 12 o'clock. Say hello, good afternoon to most people. I think a lot of people here are based in Sydney, and if you're not, feel free to let me know where you are. I realised after setting the dates, a couple of months ago for these webinars, that it's actually 1 o'clock in the morning for people in the UK, so I'm pretty sure I haven't got any of the UK people listed joining us today, but I'm going to run an international one next month for everybody that is coming internationally. So if you can please let me know that you can see the screen that says Xero Ecosystem Expert Webinar, and also see my webcam if you want to. And oh, excellent, Karen, you're joining us from, and Phil, oh, excellent, 8 p.m. Yay! Excellent, very excited to see. We've got some people from, I'm going to try and say that properly, Massachusetts. Sorry about that, Karen, I got that completely wrong. And Las Vegas as well, so very exciting, cool. Good evening to you all then over there. Yes, pretty sure the English people won't make it, but they can record it as well if you need to. So just so you do know, I am recording it as well if you need to come back. If you drop out, last time I had a few people dropping out, so if you drop out, it's all recorded and I can send you a link as well. Okay, so let's get started. For those of you that don't know me that well, my name is obviously Jeri Murphy, and I'm sure you've found my website, jerimurphy.com. I am a Xero ecosystem trainer. Well, I like to call myself that because I have been using Xero for 3 years. I love training on it. I love using it as a system, as well as I now specialize on a number of add-ons. The add-ons I specialize in at the moment are GeoOp, Vend, and Unleashed. And I also recently picked up Bank as well, which I'm sure you've heard a little about. If you haven't, I can tell you all about it. So what I do in each of these ecosystem webinars each month is that I give you the details of what updates have happened throughout these systems in the software in the previous month. So this month we're going over the October 2013 updates. So anything that was released by the systems between the 1st of October and the 31st of October. There's already been so much that's been released in November, but I'm not covering any of that because it's all going to be in next month. So the idea is I came out of the fact that I was a Xero accountant, so I had my own firm. I was a Xero trainer with another accounting firm, and then I've been worked for Unleashed Software for a year, especially when I was working for Unleashed and writing their advanced training course and all the work I was doing there. I didn't have time to keep up to date. I heard that Xero had released, what was it back then? I can't remember, but Xero released something. I think it was the payment services was one, for example. I just never got the chance to actually jump in, have a look, learn how it works, learn what I need to know about it. I made assumptions about things that it could do, that it couldn't actually do, because I just assumed that it did it, all those types of things. So what I really wanted to do as part of my business is give everybody the tools and information that they need to be able to, basically keep up to date with everything, because we're all too busy doing what we're doing, and I don't want it to be hard. I want to make it easy. So we're going to review and demonstrate all of the updates that were outlined in the newsletter. So with any of the information that I give you today, I'm going to be showing you how to basically talking about it, so then I'll give you some tools to understand how to sell it. I'm going to be showing you how to use it, and also because I'm showing you how to use it, you're basically going to be learning how to train on it as well. So what I want to be able to give you as well as that, and if you haven't seen or had a chance to look through the newsletter, which you may not have, you may have gone, yay, I'll just wait till Jeri shows me in a couple of weeks. If you can't look at if you haven't actually looked through the links in the newsletter, for anything we're going through today, you can go back to the website and find the related article to it that gives you a checklist of how to set up the feature, and also how to train on the feature. And for any of the detailed ones is actually the lesson, step by step, of what I'm showing you today of how to use it. first one that we're going to look at today is Xero, understanding the files feature that they brought out, and also the folder libraries. So what you can do now is you can upload the file attachments directly to Xero, and then you can apply them to transactions, to fixed assets, and to contacts. So it basically just means that the information is easy to access, and all the useful stuff that you need to know that you're usually trying to chase, your client can update, upload that information and make it available to you for you to process. So a lot of people, I'm pretty sure most people who are joining us today are actually either Xero accountants or Xero bookkeepers and working in those firms. So I don't think we have any direct business owners that are using the systems here. So let me know if you are, but I'm pretty sure I've just got accountants and bookkeepers. Alright, so the other feature that they released as part of the files as well, they mentioned, is the folder libraries. I'm just going to go through each of the things, and then we're going to have a look in Xero and see how it works. So the Xero folder libraries, it enables you to store the files in a folder library, or what's called an inbox, until you're ready to apply them. So it's easy to upload a bunch of documents all at once, and again, it's minimizing the information requests. So what I'm trying to show you here on each slide is give you an update of what actually happened, and then the big red text is this is what's cool about it, so that you can go and sell it to your clients, and they're the trigger points for you, the benefits for your clients as to why you need to know this feature and if it's going to be useful for you. Alright, so the next one is still related to files and folders, is that you can create transactions directly from the uploaded document. Now, it doesn't actually pull the information from the document and try and read it for you, like some of the add-ons do, but it gives you the ability to look at the document and then go and create the transaction from it. So obviously, if you're used to dealing with a bookkeeper, used to dealing with a lot of different paperwork, you can upload all the files and then process from the files within Xero instead of having a piece of paper, print it off in front of you or download it in a Dropbox. The client can upload it into the Xero, and then as soon as they upload it into Xero, it's available for you there. So if you want to be able to use a system, well, if you don't know what Receipt Bank is, Receipt Bank is another similar one called Shoebox. What Receipt Bank does is it pulls the information from the document for you. So if you have a receipt, for example, for fuel for the local service station, the local Caltex for $78 with, I don't know what that is, $7.73 GST or something, then you will, you take a photo of the receipt, either in an iPhone app, or you scan it and put it into, email it to Receipt Bank, lots of different submission methods. And then Receipt Bank actually pulls the information off the document for you. It inputs the date, it inputs the supplier, categorizes it for you, and it categorizes it for you, and the GST, pulls GST off and puts that information into Xero. So now we will have a look inside Xero itself. So I can show you how each of those features work. Okay, so we're inside Xero and we're going to have a look at the files. Oops, sorry. Let's turn that over this one. There we go. Okay, so first thing to know about the files is that if you go to Settings, there is now a heading under Settings which says Files. Can everybody see, just checking, okay, can everybody see the Xero screen? The Xero screen? Yep, okay, cool, thank you. Just checking. Alright, so go to Settings and then to Files, and then you get this Files screen, which you now have the inbox and also a contracts folder as a standard, and then you can add other folders that you want to. Haven't done much research into how people are using that, but I'm sure if you're in the Xero community, you'll be able to find some there. If not, we can start a conversation if we need to. But the idea is that you can upload the files into the inbox and then either deal with them later, or you can upload them and just save them in here into different folders. So the options to upload the files in the inbox is that you can go to inbox and then upload files. And then I'm just going to put a whole bunch of things in my downloads here. I'm just going to upload a couple of old documents that we've got here from my demo. Alright, so I just select the two documents that I want to upload, and here we have, well actually two of the same documents, so I'll delete one of those. So one I uploaded an hour ago and this one. If I want to delete it, I just select the cog on the right hand side and hit delete. You can see that you can also rename the document in here as well. A couple of options to also add some transactions directly from the document under this action cog. We'll just ignore that for a minute. Alright, so here we've seen that we've got the files folder, and this is also called the folder library, and it has your inbox where you can upload the files. Now you can upload just a number of files just like that by selecting the files in another folder, and you can also upload a zip file as well, which then downloads and splits all the documents out into here as well. Alright. So when you select a document with the tick box, you can go to Add New, which is where you're going to add a new transaction from the document itself, and you can move it to a new folder. The folder has to exist. You can move it there, and you create the new folder over here. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Before I add a new transaction, I'm just going to select the document so you can see what it looks like. So when you select the document, you then get this copy of the document in here, which you can then zoom into, save, download, print, whatever you want to do. So remember, this is not just about me getting the document. You know I already have access to that document, but this might be you as my bookkeeper. Obviously, I'm the client. I just uploaded it and the bookkeeper, so I can see that document in Xero instantly because I'm the bookkeeper and you have access to that. Alright, so once you've looked at the document, we could then say that we want to add a new sales invoice from that document. When we do that, it takes us to the new sales invoice screen and we can start entering that information in here. Now, again, you can look at the document from within here, but you can see that the information is not pulled through from the document itself. You're just reviewing the document and then it attaches the file automatically for you, and then you enter the details as well. So that's one option. Now the other option, which you can do with files now, is obviously you can apply a document to a fixed asset and all of the other contacts and transactions that we've mentioned. But I just want to show you the other way that fixed assets works, because in this case, maybe you don't want to create a new fixed asset in the document. Maybe you've already created the fixed asset previously, but then you want to be able to add the document to an existing fixed asset. You're not going to do it in the way I just showed you because it's going to want to create a new fixed asset, which you already have that exists. So if we go to a registered fixed asset, so fixed assets and then registered assets and then into there, you can then now select the file button again. Before it just you just have the paperclip that you used to seeing. The paperclip's now being replaced with the this files document. And you can either upload the file directly if you haven't previously put it in your library, or you can hit Add from Library, and then any of the documents that haven't previously been applied to anywhere, so an unattached file is still sitting in your library for you to be able to attach. So once you attach it, it would then show up against this asset. And that's it. It's done. So they're the three things that we can do with files. So we've got files, we've got folder libraries, we've got an inbox. You can create transactions after viewing the document in the inbox directly from the files section, or you can upload the document from the library or from your computer elsewhere directly into an existing transaction. Yeah, or asset, whatever it is. Okay. By the way, what I'm going to do so that you know is I'm going to change my settings over. I'm going to let the questions go in the GoToMeeting chat box. So if you have any questions and you haven't used GoToMeeting much before, make sure you put them in the chat box at the bottom of the GoToMeeting panel, and I will grab them at the end because we've got a bit of information to get through. All right, so let's get on to Xero Touch. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't use Xero Touch much prior to this recent update, and then now that you can do bank reconciliation within the iPhone or within the iPad, I have been using it a little bit more. Still not, because I'm at my computer every single morning. It's really, I don't use it as much as I'm sure some people do. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more user friendly and actually worth looking at these days, which is why I want to show you. So the functions are the same for both devices, and they just basically look different in the bank reconciliation screen. After I talk about this, I'm then going to give you some of my tips and tricks that I found as I was learning about the Xero Touch when I wrote the articles before. So I'm just going to bring up my second to get this up and going so you can actually see my iPad. Alright, can everybody see the iPad on the screen there? Obviously I haven't used this app before. I have used it obviously, but not with the GoToMeeting. So yes, you can see it. Excellent. Alright, so I'm on the iPad, and I'm going to do the iPhone in a second, but I'm going to show you how you can do the the iPad bank reconciliation in the iPad in Xero Touch. So I'm going to my Xero Touch app, and you have to, log in. I don't know about you, but my iPad has issues with putting this number in. Not fast, but I'd like to press it all the times. So it's not actually usually this bad, but I think we did a test on it. There we go. So I think it's a bug that it's the passcode. This is a demonstration model. Either way, we're now in. Okay, so this is the dashboard that it takes you to. If you haven't seen Xero Touch before, I'll give you a bit of a look around. So first of all, My Xero. Select My Xero and you have your list of your companies on here. So I think from memory it comes up with the most used at the top. Anyway, so demo company, I'm selecting the company file I want to go into. And then it gives me my dashboard. On my dashboard I have the accounts at the top. I have the invoices and all the different status of invoices, drafts, submitted, overdue, unpaid, and the current expense claims. Then right down the bottom we've got the far left is dashboard. Then we've got invoices, expenses, and contacts. So we're focusing on the bank rec, and then we'll look at those other three sections when I look at the Xero Touch and tips. Okay, cool. Alright, so if we go to our business bank account where we have some unreconciled transactions, you can see on the left-hand side you have the unreconciled transactions, and I know it's small, but there's 28 unreconciled transactions. And on the right, if you select all, you get to see all of the transactions. So while we're in here, we'll just scroll down the bottom a little bit, and you can see under Melrose Parking, I can't click on it, but oh no, I can show you with my mouse. I'm trying to do a lot of things at once. You've got Melrose Parking, and there's this green tick here. Green tick means that the transaction is fully reconciled. You can't change it in iPhone Touch. It is the same, or iPad Touch, whatever you want to call it, it is it's a green tick in the back of your account transactions in your Xero bank account. That's what that is. If it doesn't have a green tick, then it's a transaction still waiting to be reconciled. So if we want to reconcile it, we hit unreconciled. Okay, so now in here you need to understand what a not filled blue dot is, what a blue dot is, and a green dot as well. So we'll start with the green dots. Green dots is a transaction that has a match to it. The Xero recognizes it has a match, either accounts receivable or accounts payable. It's exactly the same feature as your match inside there. So I'm not going to click it in here because we're going to reconcile transactions when we're in the iPhone. It looks a little different. So green dot there is, so we put match, and then your favorite demo file, you've got Ridgeway University as well. From our accounts receivable, Ridgeway University paid for that invoice, so we've got that match. Alright, now back up to the top, we've got our blue dot. So our filled blue dot is where there is a bank rule or an auto suggestion. And Xero has pre-filled that for you, and if you're happy with all that information there, for example, now these bank fees with the description bank fee and GST free expenses, then we can just hit OK. Then it moves up there and goes to our all transactions, and then we have unreconciled 27, just keep moving through them. Go to our not filled blue dot, and you can see that you have your 4 options as usual. So we've got our create, find and match, transfer, and discuss. If there is a comment on it, you can see this little green bubble on the speech bubble, and you can write your comments here. Save that, and then just to show you one without a comment, if it doesn't have a little green bubble on it on this side. So going back to this one, because we know we have other central city parking ones available, let's just go and create this transaction. So we hit the create button and then categorize it to, I don't think we have parking in the demo, we'll categorize it to travel, GST on expenses, and hit OK. That's another transaction done. Okay, so that's how we do the bank rec on the iPad. I'm going to show you on the iPhone, and then we'll look at the Xero Touch tips and tricks. Alright, just give me a moment to swap this one over. Alrighty, the iPhone app doesn't seem to have a problem with the numbers like the other one does, like the iPhone does. Okay, so, taking me back to my contacts, we'll just head back to the dashboard. So again, we've just come into the Xero Touch app, put in our authorization number. By the way, if you forget the number, you can just hit the forgot in the bottom left-hand corner when it asks for those numbers, and it'll take you to your normal email login that you're used to seeing. Alright, so demo company, and then we have our bank accounts again, and that same information. There's nothing else, there's nothing on the iPad app that's not on the iPhone, just the bank reconciliation is a little different. So we'll select our reconcile 26 items, and then this is what it looks like for a particular transaction now. You don't get that whole list, you sort of scroll between transactions. Alright, so if we come back to this one, we've got received, cash deposit, leave that one because it's too hard. This one is, the blue marker says that it's got a rule match. See, it says rule match and 7-Eleven, so we're happy with that one. Click OK. And then this is our central city parking. Now, this one is actually just been auto-filled because it knows we put central city parking to this just a moment to travel just a minute ago. It's auto-filled for us, so it's now ready to go. This one is a parkside kiosk, and we don't know what it is, for example. So we can see it's minus $10.50, and we don't have the discuss little box, little icon, but you can hit add note. That's the same as the discuss tab. And then once it's there, it turns into edit note. Or if you obviously need to review the note, then you can review the note the client's put there. The other thing that I think is pretty cool as well is that it still gives you the details of the statement line, exactly that comes up the bank statement. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the create is the same as usual. All right, so bank reconciliation is pretty simple. Now, on the iPad and the iPhone, if you haven't got your clients already using it or haven't shown them, maybe it can be a touch point for you to come back to them and say, hey, if you do have an iPhone, let me show you something, to send them something about it. So just again, giving them, everybody loves freedom of choice, everybody loves having options, and playing with little funky bits of software, at least I do anyway. So that's where we can, use it as a chance to talk to your customers and find out what they're doing. All right, so looking at the Xero Touch tips and tricks, let me just, I'll bring it up on mine and I'll show you this slide in a second to help bring it home. So faster invoicing. If you want to do invoicing faster if you find people are using the iPhone or the iPad or Xero Touch a lot, then get your inventory items in. So use inventory items for, set them up within the Xero web app. You can't set them up within the iTouch. Set them up within the web app and use it so that obviously it will pre-fill your descriptions and pre-fill your amounts and things on when you're doing the invoice on the run. The other thing as well, which I didn't mention, was you add a customer. You can add a customer name within the Touch app, but you can't edit a contact and you can't add their address. So if you were to do the whole invoice through Xero Touch for a new customer, you can do it all, but when you email the invoice off to them, it comes up with just their name and their no address. So for those of you who know me for a while, it's a pet hate of mine that the invoices look crappy. They just have a name on it, so always put an address, or if you don't have an address, I always put sent via email in the address. So you can't even do that in the Touch app. So not a big deal, but just letting you know that you can't. So okay, so that's faster invoicing using inventory items. Let me just quickly see. I added a contact in here before. No, it wasn't this one. I'm just seeing if the maps come up. No, it hasn't. Here it is here. So you can, mustn't be, oh no, I did this last time actually. In a demonstration file, I was like, check out the maps, it looks really cool. But then if you see the address, it actually says made up bill. So when you click on it and it goes to take you to the Google Maps, it can't find it because it's been made up bill. So yeah, but if it's a real address, you can click on it and it takes you to the map. So if you knew the client, it's a pretty cool map setup, which I think is a nice little talking point if you're showing clients how cool their life can be if they're not using MYOB or not using QuickBooks anymore. One thing to note though is I added the map or edited this contact just before about 2 hours ago in my demo file. It hasn't come through, so I'm going to be asking Xero the question as to how often it updates the contact information between Xero Touch and the app itself. And yeah, if you're interested, I'll let you know. Alright, so let me jump out of the iPhone. We'll be back in here in a minute when we look at GeoOp. And I'll just turn that off so I can do what I've got to do here. So it doesn't like doing that for me. Alright, so here we have Xero Touch tips and tricks. So for faster invoicing, use inventory items. For expenses, add them in Xero Touch. If you've seen the Xero Touch video that Xero brought out when they released Xero Touch, you can see they're taking photos in the hardware store of the expenses. Do know that the expenses go, if you do that, it's going into the expense claims version, expense claims section of Xero. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the expense claims section, so that's why I use Receipt Bank, because it pushes all the information into purchases. I can have it set up that way, even into purchases to spend money. It's just we really don't like Xero Express panes. So it's just hard to move around and to use, and it's hard to edit a transaction once it's there, and yeah, anyway. So for purchases and reports. So a lot of people had issues with the fact that with the recent update, it still didn't have the creditor section of purchases or the report in it. My answer to that is just use the browser. If you're already using your iPhone, then you're going to, or iPad more so for reporting, then you're going to have access to that information as long as you have the internet. So just, yes, it's frustrating it's not all in the one place, but if you need purchases and you need reports, just use your browser. The contacts, as I said, showed you, maps are pretty cool when they have real addresses, but make sure that you edit the, you can't edit the contacts in Xero Touch at all. You can only view them. So you can add a note, but you can't edit anything about them. So you need to make a change, do it within the web app. All right, that is all about Xero. And if you have any questions with Xero, I'll leave you a minute just to put them in the question box before I move on to the next 3 applications. And then, as I said, we'll come back to the questions at the end. Okay, so Unleashed. Unleashed is online inventory management software. If you've followed me for a while, you may know that. A lot of people still haven't really used it because in most cases, most clients, only 5% of their clients will actually be dealing with inventory unless you're a specialist in accounting for those types of industries. So either way, Unleashed software has a new pricing plan, or had a new pricing plan come out in October. What they did is they had an old enterprise plan and they renamed it the business plan. And then they created a new enterprise plan which gave you the ability to have unlimited warehouses and products. So I'll show you that pricing and you can get a bit more of an understanding about it. Okay, so Unleashed, I'm on Unleashed now. Unleashed pricing, this screen is in Australian dollars. You can change it to your currency just by selecting your currency, your flag, and then it will change for you. So in the Australian dollars, they have the light version, which is $38.50 including GST per month. And then on all of the other versions, you can save if you pay the annual upfront fee. You pay the whole thing annually, and then you save an amount per month. Provided over that time. I'm sure that makes sense. So you pay an annual amount, and it's cheaper if you pay it as an annual amount. So if your clients are going on Unleashed, they definitely want to stay on it, and they're all happy, then you just put them on the annual plan. They're happy to pay that up front. So then everybody saves money versus paying it per month as they go. So this enterprise plan is the new one, the one at the end. So every other version is limited by users and by warehouses. So professional has 3 users, 3 warehouses, it also has 10,000 products. And then the business version is 5 users, 25,000 products and 5 warehouses. So what that means is you need 4 users, you need to go up to business. If you need 10 users, you're paying for 5. Plus, then you have to pay the bundles of users on top of that as well, depending on how many you need. So that's how that works. Now, what the enterprise version does is the price per user, which has unlimited warehouses, unlimited products, and yeah, that's really its only benefits. So, but it's per user. So it's for a big business that has more than 5 warehouses, but not too many users. The most common one that I found when I was with Unleashed, the people that couldn't take on Unleashed prior to this pricing plan, the reason that instigated this change, I suppose, is that it got very expensive for people that did consignment stock to manage their Unleashed subscription when they needed more than 5 warehouses. So for those of you that don't know what consignment stock is, I know I didn't know much about it before I worked at Unleashed. So what it is when you have stock and then you, instead of selling it to wholesaler, and you go and give, sorry again, so wholesale company has lots of stock. They sell some of the stock to their distributors directly, and then the distributors actually buy it. And in some other cases, they sell stock on consignment, which means they might sell their stock to 20 different stores, but it doesn't actually get sold, and they don't get paid for it until the stock itself has actually been sold onto the end user. So they may say, I've got 20 candles, and 20 candles go from your warehouse, the business's warehouse, to the consignee's shop. They receive in the 20 candles, and then at the end of the month, they say, I sold 8 candles. They tell the business owner that, and then send through a sales report, and then the stock gets deducted. They know there's 12 candles left at that particular consignee, and then the sales get reported for those 8 candles. And everybody knows where all the stock is, and how much has been sold, and how much it's worth, and who owes and what. So that way you manage that process in Unleashed is to use multiple warehouses. So it got quite unaffordable for people that had more than 5 warehouses to go and do that. The other thing as well that I hadn't thought of prior is vans. People that have lots of vans out on the road that want to track their stock in vans. It's not something I highly recommend. It depends on the type of business. But if you want to be able to track your stock in the main warehouse going out into different vans to installers and things like that, then you have them all set up as separate warehouses as well. So as the business grows, you want to know that you've got unlimited warehouses to be able to manage that with. All right, so that is all that came up through in Unleashed throughout October. I think I'm going to do that thing to me again where it shows you the presentation. I don't know if anybody can tell me how to make sure it doesn't do that each time. I'm sure you'll let me know if you know. I'll have to Google it later. All right, GeoOp. So GeoOp had two updates. One was actually a major branding update, and I'll show you around the web app in a minute some of the things that they improved in it to make it better, easy to get around, and cleaner. And then they also enabled iPhone invoicing. So previously, if you used GeoOp, you could do an invoice from the iPad itself, and you could, be out on a job, have just the iPad, and hit invoice when you completed the job, and create the invoice. You couldn't do it on the iPhone. You could only complete the job, and then the people in the office or someone that had an iPad had to create the invoice. So you can do it now on the iPhone. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So I've just told you everything on the screen. So let me show you how to do the GeoOp iPhone app. Now I will quickly show you. I'm going to add a job. Sorry, it's not coming up yet. I'm talking whilst I'm doing it. I'm going to show you how to add a job quickly as well, because maybe you haven't seen the GeoOp iPhone app much. So I'm going to just quickly show you how to add a job, add a charge, and create the invoice. So just check my settings and make sure everyone's still can hear me all right. All right, cool. I'm sure you can still hear me because I can see questions. All right, so let's have a look at how to add a job. So first of all, in our jobs, let's go to Add Job, the button down the middle at the bottom, and I'll pick webinar demo job. Save the name of the job. You can see your little required fields, little stars against the required fields. Let's select the client. Let's select this one. And the address. I'll put a number in it because I know it likes numbers. And then a job start time. So we just say that's today, and then everything else is preset. So we've added the job, And then I go to my jobs list. And here we have Bayside Wholesale Webinar Demo Jobs. So I'm going to select that one. And all the information is there for me. Status. So if I wasn't doing this myself, if I was the user out on the road with my iPhone, I would be able to, I would have received I would have been assigned to that job and received an SMS that says, you've been assigned to this job. And then I open the job like this and then hit accept job. And it says, yes, I'm sure. Alright, so I'm going to start the job and say that it's in progress. And then I'm going to go to my charges and I'm going to add, if there's quotes and all sorts of other things that in the job templates, some of this can be pre-filled, but I'm just going to pretend like we've just been out here for an hour and we've got the rate of $100. I'm not doing a quote this time, I'm doing an actual, and I want to invoice this. I've added that. And then we can add different labors, different parts. Yeah, I'm going to stop now because it's not a training session. And then we can hit the plus button at the top. And previously didn't have this option, you can now create an invoice. So we're going to hit create invoice, and it says you are about to, it's a spelling mistake. You're about to create a draft invoice in your invoicing system. This process will take a few seconds to continue. Yes. So what that's going to do is, or what it is doing right now while it's thinking, is it's sending a copy of the invoice for $110 to Xero, putting it in drafts, and then taking a copy of that PDF file from within Xero itself and putting it into the notes section of GeoOp in the iPhone app. It's done all of that in less than the time that I've been talking. So your invoice is now ready. Would you like to view it? So I'm going to say no because I want to see it in my notes file instead. So I go to notes. So if I said yes, it would just open it. If I go to notes, you can see it's got PDF and it's got the draft invoice for webinar demo job. And then you can approve it in here. If you can open it and then approve it or delete it, pressing those buttons. Well, actually, I might approve it now. And then it says you can't change it once it's in here. So we'll do that. So that's now approved. It's just thinking while it approves it and again sends an updated PDF back to me. You can have it approved automatically through all the GeoOp settings, but I do like having the draft to have a look at first. So now we have the approved invoice, and there we go. You can see all of that information, all approved. We're now sitting in the waiting payments in Xero, and then I can then email it on to the customer or do whatever I want to do with it. That's it. So that's how you can create a job, add charges, create an invoice, approve it, and send it on to the customer from the iPhone. So, alright, excellent. So, that is GeoOp on the iPhone. So we don't need the iPhone anymore. Alright, lucky there wasn't too many other updates because I ran out of time. Okay. Alright, so looking at the next one, which is GeoOp Improvements. Oh, I have to show you those inside the GeoOp app. Alright, so with me. Alright, so here we have our GeoOp app. Let me just go back to the overview, which is the screen that generally comes to the job screen, but there's the overview screen. So things have just changed a little bit in here if you haven't seen it for a while. So the GeoOp logo has been updated. It has these flat icons now. It also has the profile, staff profile, and support straight away, and then your notifications showing up on the right-hand side. And then the quick links are still here. I think they used to just hang out and stay there automatically before, but then now you can just leave them like that. And then if you go to the jobs list, the other main big change which I liked was the fact that you can see straight away who's assigned to particular jobs, the staff details, the photo if you have it there, and also if there's unbilled time on the job, you can see that straight away, as well as how many files and how many parts and labour, the charges and parts have been applied to that job. So this job here that we just invoiced out, we can see all those details that we just added to that webinar job here straight away. You can then update it and complete that job as well. So, and yeah, there's plenty of other things to show you, but there's the approved invoicing here that we looked at. We can download it as PDF from here. We can email it to the client. So whatever you want to do, you can do lots of stuff. If you haven't seen inside GeoOp before, this shows you this is what the job looks like. So the job on the left-hand side with all the details, and then the exact job location is recorded here on this detailed map. Very cool. All right, I'm going to jump out of that and show you, just talk about the Vend update. There's nothing to actually show you in there because there really is just a bit of an FYI when it comes to the Vend improvement. So let's look at those. So Vend loyalty updates, loyalty program updates. Basically, they made a change to the loyalty program that affects only the existing users, and anyone using the loyalty program will advise that they have to jump in, follow some steps in some Vend support notes to check that the products weren't affected by this big update they did. They basically changed some of the way they were calculating things or something like that. So it really only affected price books, not the general, not all products. So if you have clients that use Vend and that hasn't been a discussion, or you just want to check with them that they've done that update to make sure that they don't have some random products that just aren't calculated correctly, then follow the Vend support notes. They are in the article on my website as well, so you can just find them directly. The other thing they did at the same time was they did a change with the rounding calculation. Again, it's written about in the article as an example. Basically, this means it'll, by standard, get a bit round up to, say, 5 cents instead of showing just 4 cents. It doesn't solve all problems, but it does solve some of those problems that existed. And then for the US retailers, there was a PayPal update for the iPad app, and US retailers can now accept mixed payment types. I can't say that I have needed to know about this before, so I'm assuming that previously if someone was paying by PayPal, you could only just pay by PayPal. They could pay the whole thing. They could pay $50 cash and pay the rest in PayPal, but you now can. Tested that within the Vend setup, and then you can also enter credit card details through the iPad itself, typing them in. You don't have to just swipe the cards. You can type it in, or have a client type them in if you want to. So really, it just means you have more freedom. All right. Questions? Let me jump into the questions. Okay. Wow, 50 minutes really goes very quickly when you're talking about lots of things. Okay. Alright, so looking back through my questions, and feel free to keep adding other questions here while I look through these ones. Alright. Okay. Sorry, lots of comments. Okay, so, no, that's not a question, that was just a sound issue. Okay. Question from Karen. What is the best way to learn how to get set up in Unleashed, how to get your list uploaded, and what is what is it like, process-wise? Okay, so Unleashed have a couple of options. They have free webinars that are run every couple of days out of New Zealand and out of New Zealand. It would be probably evening for you. Don't think they do the basic webinars international times, but they do record them. So, and there's a couple on YouTube that are updated as they have given updates. They won't do a new one on there. So they'll have one that has order management in it, for example, on the recent one. So what you want to be able to do first of all is have a look and understand how to use Unleashed based on those basic webinars. There are the basic that takes you through how to use the purchases module, sales, and the inventory setup. And then there's another module, a whole other webinar or YouTube video that talks about actual implementation. So how to implement Unleashed. And that is all about how to build the CSV template. So every single database in Unleashed can be automatically updated with the CSV import. So I'm just going to think which ones they are. By standard, you do your suppliers first, then you do your customers, and your suppliers, customers, then your products, and then you can also import your bill of materials. And then it's not recommended to backdate or put historical information in, but you want to, but you can import purchase orders. Say they've got a lot of shipments on the water and they want to put those purchase orders into the system. Then you can import purchase orders and also import sales invoices. So all of those are options in Unleashed to be able to get them started. But definitely start with the webinars. And they also offer for partners and potential partners, I think, at one call, they did a few months ago. If you have a client that you want to put onto Unleashed, then you can have a scope call with one of their solutions architects. That's what I used to do there. So, which they will go through and sit with you and your client on a scope call and go through and understand what the business needs and understand business processes, and then tell you whether Unleashed is a good fit or not and how it will work. And if it doesn't work, they will tell you and you look for other solutions. For the American customers, I believe the biggest thing is the fact that it's not localized for the American dates. So that was so it's in the date, month, year format versus the month, date, year format. And they are working on updating that. I haven't released yet. So the other option as well, once you've exhausted all of those, if you needed any assistance with implementation and training and just didn't want to get to know the whole solution, I provide those services to a lot of partners here in Australia and the UK actually. I have one that I have in the UK where they just don't want to know about how to use it all, but then you can use it. That part of my services is called a cloud integrator, so you can use a cloud integrator to be able to do that. There's a few others here in Australia as well. I don't know of any in the US yet, so everyone's still at that stage where they're trying to learn and get up to date on it themselves, which is totally fine. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Happy to take more questions, and I'm also happy to open up the mic if you want to. Usually people don't want me to do that. You can give me a chat thingy to say that you want to. I know I was always used to be scared to do it versus when you're on the other end. So does anybody have any other questions about anything that we've gone through today, or if there's anything else that you need me to demonstrate? Okay, we've got a few more here. Okay. I've got one here. Okay, it says Xero said that email to files. Yes, email to files inbox will be coming in the next release or two. So yes, at the moment you can't email into Xero. You can't email the file into Xero. So yeah, that's something that you can do with some of the add-ons that you can't do with Xero itself. great to know whether, obviously let me know if I'm ever covering anything that is not being released in the US that's released here. I know for ages, English, I know for a long time there was things released in New Zealand that wasn't released in Australia. Excellent, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Xero, what's the disk space provided for Xero for files? They recently updated that in relation to the pricing plans, I'm pretty sure. So I haven't spent a huge amount of time looking into the pricing plans, but I do remember reading something about that. So definitely have a look on the pricing plans. And if you don't have a time between now and then, I'll make sure that is covered in the next month's update in relation to pricing plans. All right. Excellent. Karen, I might have a conversation with you separately about the partner program with Unleashed and the options there and to give a bit more detail. Excellent. All right. So if everyone else, I'll give you an email and a call back, Karen, on another line if you have time now. If not, we'll go another time. All right. So thank you, everybody. If you have any other questions, now's the time. If not, I will see you next month. So you have my email on the screen, Jeri@jerimurphy.com. Thank you.